If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Friday, March 7th, 2013. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Cody Miller made a big statement at the Big Ten Championships that he will be one to watch at the NCAA Championships in 3 weeks. Not only was he very fast in the 200 IM and 100 breast, but he put together the second fastest 200-yard breaststroke in history with a 150-103. And Cody joins us now from Bloomington, Indiana. Cody, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you must be very happy with how you did in Big Tens. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your swims?
Overall, probably like an 8. I'm pretty happy with my swims. I feel like I did really well, especially given the taper we had. I feel like I still have a whole lot left, and I mean that was the idea going into the meet. You know, the end of the season goal is always NCAAs and not Big Tens. So. I'm pretty happy with my performances.
Well, even though you say you got a lot more to take, I would say that your meet was a 10. I mean, you dropped 3 seconds in your 200 IM, you dropped a second in your 100 breast, and 3 in the 200. I mean, what would you attribute to such big time drops?
Really, this past season, I mean, well, first I had a great 200 IM last summer, and I mean, I've always been a pretty good IMer, but I really hammered my other strokes this season. I worked my fly on my back, really my underwaters more than anything, and that kind of took some of the focus off of my breaststroke, and really that kind of helped. I mean, improving my IM really is what improved my breaststroke, and especially that 200.
Yeah, so I guess that would be very important. You know, you can't just, most breaststrokers tend to rely only on their breaststroke to improve their IM, but you say you really wanted to make sure all 4 strokes were getting better?
Yeah, and especially like my aerobic and distance freestyle training, you know, that's improved a lot. Just, you know, it's not just one thing. It's a handful of things. And when people improve, not just myself, but when anybody improves, it's not just because of one specific thing. It's everything.
Well, I would say it's also a bittersweet meet. You got disqualified in the 400 medley relay for doing an extra dolphin kick. Would you say that was a fair call?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people have been asking me about that, and the truth is, you ask any breaststroker, and there's a lot of dolphin kicking going on in breaststroke right now, especially when you have the Olympic champion admitting to taking extra dolphin kicks right into the dive, and that's essentially what I did. You know, I took a risk on that relay, the first straight breaststroke swim of the meet, right in on the dive, and I took a risk and I got DQ'd, and you know, I wasn't the only guy doing it, and that's not an excuse, but you know, it wasn't fair, it wasn't right, so. I've straightened it out. I'm not going to do it again. And you know, I wish I hadn't done it because it ended up costing us that relay. But, you know, I talked to my coaches afterwards, and, you know, Ray and Mike said, you know, better you learn this lesson now than later. Better learn it at Big Tens rather than NCAAs or Olympic trials. So, you know, I've learned my lesson, and it's not going to happen again.
Well, there was also a lot of talk about your 200 breaststroke that people in the building also saw you doing a couple extra dolphin kicks. So are you saying that you didn't do it in the 200 as well? You didn't take that risk?
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying my 200, everything's totally clean. You know, I cleaned it up immediately after that disqualification, immediately.
Was it a case of you really having to concentrate on not having to do that? I mean, if you
actually, not so much. It was just really right when you jump in the pool and you just over try, you know, and it's like I think breaststroke is it's a lot of patience and it's a lot of timing. And when I over try in my breaststroke, that's actually when I go slower, and that's when I tend to break that body line. We talk a lot about body line and the breaststroke pullout, and immediately when you dive in, you want to get right into that and take that extra kick. You know, if you do that, you know, you tend to break your body line. And I looked at some of the race footage, and it's actually slowing me down because I'm breaking my body line. It's strictly on that first pullout. And I mean, it's been cleaned up, and it helped in the 200 breaststroke. It really helped. That was, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, I would say it really helped.
Yeah.
Before we go into that 200 breast, I mean, we're talking about dolphin kicks on the start here. You may have heard this. There's some talk going around that FINA might allow as many dolphin kicks up to 15 meters on the start at breaststroke, or would you be in favor of that, or would you just want to go just stay where it is?
Yeah, I hadn't even heard that. That's a stretch. That would be, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't like that at all. I think the rules we have in place are good, and I think that they should stay. My opinion. I think you throw in 15-meter kickouts on the whole swim, and it kind of changes the whole dynamic of the stroke and the race, and I don't like that idea.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it pans out later this summer when FINA gets together to vote. So back to that 200 breast. I mean, like I said, 151.03. You're now the second fastest in history. I mean, how do you comprehend that right now?
I mean, I try not to think about it as just putting it on a pedestal and thinking, oh, it's that fast, because I haven't even looked at the splits for my race yet, and I don't want to. I'm kind of just going off of feel, and I still I think about how the race felt and how I felt while I was swimming it, and like what I could do better, and that's what I'm trying to think of. I'm not trying to think of it as this huge success and the pinnacle of my swimming right now in the season, because I don't believe that. I think I got more, and there's things that I could still do better, especially that last 50. To try and improve on that time. So really, I'm looking forward, not back.
Well, Kevin Cordes is obviously going to be the man to beat in that 200 and the 100 as well. You were in the final at the USA Nationals when he went that 150.7. And you only went 154 because I know Indiana was unshaved and unrested at that meet. So when you saw that time on the board, 150.7, was that any extra motivation for what you would end up doing at Big Tens?
I mean, that's fast time. And, when I saw that time, I'm like, wow, that's really fast. But, I mean, he's a fast swimmer, and breaststroke in general has just gotten so much faster in the last 2 years. I mean, looking at what those guys went in the 200 at the Olympics last summer, and it's just gradually getting faster. And I wouldn't say that like watching one swim or being in one swim or seeing one time is what motivates me. It's just I'm trying to make myself the best that I can be. So, there's a lot of motivation out there.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Speaking of motivation, not just individually, but team-wise, it looks like Indiana's looking good in NCAAs. You guys got Eric Rest back, so I would imagine the excitement level is really high right now.
Mm-hmm. It is. We're really, really excited about NCAAs. This is going to be our best year in years, and we're really excited. We have high expectations.
Not looking, I guess looking outside of your own events, is there any event that Indiana is swimming at the meet that you're saying this is going to be like the one where everybody's going to be really surprised how well we do?
I mean, there was kind of a couple of events that I would say. I mean, definitely our 200 breaststroke we had 3 or 4 guys go at least 155. I went 151.0, but we had 3 guys go 155 low, and we'll definitely go faster given our second taper that they could easily sneak into top 8. Definitely watch Eric and James in that 100 backstroke. That's going to be a great race. That's always, having those 2 guys here all season, watching them race is always exciting. That's something that we always watch. I know it's just, any IU swimmer that qualified in an individual event has a very high likelihood of scoring. And we have, like I said, we have a lot left in the tank. So it's pretty exciting. When we see an IU swimmer step on the blocks, like we know they're going to go best times. We know they're going to go fast. And so that's going to be the case. I'd say not specifically one event, but like any event. I mean, we're ready to go. We're really excited. It's been a great year.
Well, excitement is really one of the big key things to doing well at NCAAs.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're still focused on short course, but I would imagine you're also really excited to see how this is going to translate over to your long course season.
Yes. I definitely still see myself as a long course swimmer. I've always been a better long course swimmer than short course swimmer. I've definitely improved a lot on my short course swimming. So I'm really looking forward to it, because last summer I had a little bit of a breakout in my breaststroke, in the 200 breaststroke and the 100 breaststroke. I'm excited to see it carry over. I'm really looking forward to the long course season. I like the long course season.
What do you like about long course swimming as opposed to short course? Just fewer walls?
Yeah, just kind of tough to explain. Yeah, I guess the fewer walls. I like the 50-meter distance. I have a stroke designed for that. Long distance per stroke. Really building into those 450s for that 200. it's just different.
What was it like for you to be able to swim in that final of the 200 IM at Olympic trials?
That was a highlight of my career thus far. That was really cool because I mean, the funny thing, like I basically did a drop taper for Olympic trials because my main focus was going to be U.S. Open at the end of summer, and so I started drop taper a couple days before the meet, and I mean the meet started. I think my 100 breast was the first event. That was crap. I went really slow. 200 breaststroke was 2 days later, and I started swimming a little bit faster. Started to get a little bit of feel, and then the 200 IM was on the last day or the second to last day, and that's when I really popped. And I didn't anticipate swimming that fast. I didn't anticipate making the final. I actually had a flight home scheduled the day of the final. I had to cancel that because I made the final. And that was it was really exciting. It was quite an experience.
Well, I think you're just going to have to start changing your expectations now. No flights until the day after the meet's over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it just was really thrilling. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people who were racing not just in that 200 IM final, but other events with Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte in it. And of course, everybody's there to watch that, and the crowd's really cheering for them. I mean, how are you able to kind of just put the blinders on and do your 450s and not worry about what everybody else is doing, especially in that kind of meet?
I mean, that's kind of the way swimming is. I think regardless of the meet, regardless of who you're racing against, when it comes down to it, you just kind of have to put your blinders on and focus on your race. And that's when people make mistakes, when they think about, oh, I'm going to heat with Ryan Lochte or I'm going to heat with Michael Phelps, and then they change their race strategy, or they go out too fast, or they don't go out fast enough, and they make mistakes. And really, it's just laser focus. I have coach that always tells me you need to have laser focus. Don't make mistakes, stick to your race strategy. So I just tried to do that the best I could, in that situation. And I mean, I won a best time, and you just can't let those things get to you. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, it's a good strategy. Very good strategy. You're Las Vegas born and raised. How are you dealing with these Indiana winters?
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing the sweatshirt, actually. It's cold out, man. It's snowing, and I am not enjoying it. It's actually, the winters here aren't that bad. Really aren't bad at all, actually. They're very tame. But any snow for me is like kryptonite. I don't know. I'm dealing with it. It's almost done. It's March. It's starting to get warmer, so I'm hanging in there. It's all right.
Yeah, well, you still got at least another year. Do you think maybe after you're done with your collegiate eligibility, you'll keep swimming, stay with working with relives?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be here.
Well, that's good. That's good news. I'm sure Ray's going to be happy to hear that. Cody, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to look forward to seeing you at NCAA's. It must be real exciting to know that it's only just a quick van ride for you guys, just about an hour up the road.
5 minutes, so that's pretty nice. Yeah.
Makes all the traveling so much easier.
It does. It really does.
All right. Well, good luck in NCAA's, and we look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So that was Indiana junior Cody Miller joining us in the Finis Monitor. Be sure to stay with Swimming World in 3 weeks for full coverage of the men's NCAA championships on swimmingworld.com, on Facebook, and on Twitter. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.